Many people, when they see someone over 80 like us, they think their time is past. They only live in the past. They imagine us sitting in a rocking chair all day, sipping tea, and staring out the window at a world that has moved on without us. But today, shall I tell you a secret? Aging is not a fading away. It is a rebirth. Today, I want to tell you about my dear friend, a woman who stunned all of America, Joan Rigby. She started her life over at 70. Yes, at 70 years old. If you still think that it's too late for me, then this story is for you. Looking at the sunrise through the window this morning, I remembered my Thomas again. He loved that I was always in motion. Here in America, we love to say, it's never too late. It isn't just a pretty phrase. It is the very foundation of our spirit. But sometimes, when your joints ache and you see a face full of wrinkles in the mirror, it's easy to lose that spirit. I remember when I first met Joan. She was a typical retiree, but in her eyes, there was a deep sadness I had never seen before. When she turned 70, she lost Arthur, her husband and the pillar of her life. When the man she had walked hand in hand with for 50 years was gone, Joan's world collapsed. She used to tell me, "Mary, when Arthur left, it felt like my life stopped too. The house felt too big, too cold. I didn't want to bother my children, but I was burning up with loneliness inside." At that time, Joan's health was also beginning to fail. Osteoporosis, the brittleness of the bones, turned her every step into agony. She was even afraid to go get milk from the store because she knew if she fell once, she might never get back up. I feel like an old, out-of-use machine, Mary. When people on the street pass by me, they don't even notice me. To them, I'm just an invisible woman. This is the tragedy of many seniors in America. As we age, we become invisible to society. People pass us by, never noticing the storm raging inside us. But one day, Joan decided to change. She refused to let her age weigh her down and pin her to her bed. She said to herself, "If I don't do something now, next year I won't be able to get up at all." And so, she opened the door of a local gym. Imagine it, a space filled with young people with muscles popping, the heavy clanging of iron, loud rock music, and right there in the middle stood white-haired, delicate Joan in her loose-fitting clothes. At first, everyone looked at her with wonder, and some even laughed. When she recalled her first workout, she told me, "Mary, when I picked up the smallest dumbbell in there, my whole body started shaking. It was only 2 kilograms, but it felt like I was carrying the weight of the entire world. I was ashamed. I was ashamed of my own helplessness." But she didn't stop. She came back the next day, and the day after that. Her trainer, a young man named Mike, immediately noticed the iron will within her. He told Joan, "Your age is not a hurdle. It is your strength." They began to work together. Joan's muscles began to wake up. She rediscovered her own body, which had been asleep for decades. With every weight she lifted, her self-confidence grew. After 2 or 3 years, Joan had changed beyond recognition. Her shoulders straightened, and her gait became firm. She no longer walked looking at the ground, afraid of falling. Instead, she held her head high and stepped with confidence. The muscles in her arms reached a level that would make any young man envious. She wasn't just a grandma who improved her health. She became a true bodybuilder. Joan's daily life at the gym seemed like a fairy tale. She would wake up at 5 in the morning. In the cold American mornings, She would put on her warm tracksuit and be the first to appear in the hall. Her training wasn't just physical exercise, it was a real science. She began calculating protein amounts and studying muscle anatomy. By the time she was over 75, she reached a level where she was lifting weights people her age couldn't even imagine. 60 to 70 kilogram barbells. When she did a deadlift, the whole gym would stop and watch her in awe. The young men in the gym, who at first looked at her with surprise, later began to call her Iron Grandma and treat her with immense respect. They would come up to Joan and ask for advice. "Joan, your technique is amazing. Please teach me too." A 75-year-old woman became a mentor to 20-year-old athletes. Sport didn't just give her health, it gave her a new family. She was no longer alone. The most interesting part was the moment of her first competition. When she turned 75, Joan stepped onto a major bodybuilding stage. She prepared for this moment for months. She strengthened not only her body, but also her spirit. When she stepped onto the stage, the special bronze tan applied to her body highlighted every single muscle fiber. The hall fell silent. Then the music started. As Joan began to show her professional poses, her shoulders, biceps, and back muscles played under the spotlight. She wasn't just a 75-year-old grandma. She was like a living statue. The entire hall stood up and moved to applaud. The tears flowing from her eyes weren't from joy, but from the tears of victory. She conquered herself, her old age, and the society's opinion that your time has passed. She didn't just win a medal that day, she found herself. She realized that she could be strong even without Arthur, and that life could be bright even after 70. Sport healed her soul. She told me, "Mary, every time I lift a barbell, I feel like I'm throwing down my grief, my loneliness, and my illness. Iron never lies to me. If you work hard, it gives you strength." In America, we now call this active aging. Our generation doesn't want to hide at home and count our illnesses. We want to climb mountains. We want to run marathons. And we want to prove that we are still useful to the world. Joan taught me a great lesson. Our body is just a shell, but the spirit inside never grows old. Joan is over 80 now, but she hasn't stopped yet. She now speaks at major conferences across America and appears on television. Her main message is, aging is not a disease, it is a new opportunity. She is an example for both the young and the old. She once told me, "Mary, do you know why people age so quickly? They don't give themselves permission. They say, it would be embarrassing to do this at my age. It's too difficult at my age," and they limit themselves. I tore up those limitations at 70. I feel younger now than I did at 70 because I have a purpose. I am 89 now. Of course, I cannot lift heavy irons like Joan, but my marathon is this diary. Every day, when I hold this pen and speak with you, I strengthen my own spirit too. If you visited the retirement homes here in America, you would be surprised. There, 80-year-olds are playing tennis and 90-year-olds are dancing. Because for us, age is just a number. My dears, if you're sitting there right now thinking, my age has passed, I can't start anything new, remember Joan. Going to the gym at 70 is not just an act of bravery. It is a sign of respect for your own life. There is still an undiscovered power inside each of us. Sport is not just about muscle. It is a way to find yourself. Joan Rigby is world famous now. She once told me, "Mary, The heaviest weight is the thought in our minds that says, I can't do it. Once you lift that weight off just once, the rest becomes easy. I want to end today's diary entry like this. Life is a process of development until your very last breath. Never stop. Let the rocking chair keep waiting for you. But for now, run, dance, or learn something new. Because tomorrow is another opportunity. I am Mary, and I feel younger today than I did yesterday. And what about you? What did you do for yourself today? It doesn't necessarily have to be the gym. Maybe you've started learning a new language or picked up an old forgotten dream. Leave a comment. I want to read your small victories too. Until next time, stay spirited.